You know when you listen to a piece of music and it just feels right? Or maybe it's surprisingly complex and dynamic. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a core concept in music that's hiding in plain sight. We're going to explore its hidden dance. I mean, you know this tune, right? Of course you do. It's Chopsticks. It's probably one of the first things a lot of us plunk out on a piano. But I want you to look beyond just the simple notes for a second. What's actually happening between that top line of music and the bottom line?
And that's the whole secret right there. It's not just about a single melody, it's about the relationship, the interaction between two separate musical lines or voices that are playing at the exact same time.
And yeah, this thing has a name, melodic motion. That's the technical term for it. But all it really means is, how do these two musical lines move, relative to one another? Let's unpack that. Okay, to make this super clear, we're going to use an analogy that I think works perfectly. Imagine these two musical lines are actually two dancers. Their entire performance, everything they do, is defined by how they move in relation to each other. And this dance, it has three basic moves. So let's start with the first and, honestly, the most straightforward move. It's the one we just heard in Chopsticks. It's called parallel motion. Let's picture our two dancers again. With parallel motion, they are moving in perfect lockstep. I mean, if one dancer moves to the left, the other one does too. If one jumps, the other jumps. They always keep the exact same distance and move in the same direction. They're like a mirror image of each other. And this is why Chopsticks is such a perfect example. Look back at the music. See how the notes in the top line and the notes in the bottom line go up together and then down together? They're moving in parallel, and that's what creates that really distinct, familiar sound. Okay, but what happens when our dancers decide not to move in lockstep? Well, that brings us to our second dance move, contrary motion. The name really gives it all away, doesn't it? Contrary motion is just when two melodic lines move in opposite directions. So one goes up while the other goes down. They're moving away from each other or toward each other, and that creates this really cool sense of tension and release. Let's actually see this in action. As the top melody line here steps up, you can see the bottom line steps down. It's such a simple idea, but it's a really powerful effect. It creates this feeling of expansion and then contraction in the music. So let's go back to our dancers. This is the part of the show where they gracefully move away from each other, creating all this space and tension, and then they come back together, which gives us this feeling of resolution. This is a fundamental way composers build interest in their music. All right, so we've seen our dancers moving together and we've seen them moving apart. But what happens if one of them just decides to hold a pose? Well, that's our third move, oblique motion. And it is exactly what it sounds like. In oblique motion, one voice just stays put. It holds steady on a single note, while the other melodic line gets to move all around it, either going up or down. Okay, so look closely at the sheet music here. See the bottom voice? It's holding that one single note, kind of like an anchor. But meanwhile, the top voice is free to dance all around it. This creates a really rich, layered sound. So let's break it down really simply. In our dance, one of the performers becomes the anchor, right? They're holding a strong, steady pose. And the other one becomes the soloist, and they get to weave this beautiful, intricate pattern around the anchor. That contrast is just a classic, powerful tool in music. But here's the thing. A truly great piece of music is way more than just one of these moves on repeat. A great composer, just like a great choreographer, knows how to weave all three of them together to create a performance that's truly unforgettable. So in this final example, a Chinese New Year tune, you can see all three motions at play. Like right here, notice the melody and the bass are moving in parallel. But then, right after, they switch to contrary motion, creating this great moment of tension. And then, look here. The bass holds a steady note while the melody just soars above it. That's our oblique motion. It's this constant mixing and matching that makes the music so engaging. So the real takeaway here is this. The true artistry is in the blend. It's the constant interplay between voices moving together, moving apart, or one moving while the other stays still. That's what gives music its depth, its drama, and all of its beauty. Okay, so we've broken down the choreography, we've looked at all the individual steps. Now it's your turn. Now you get to be the expert in the audience.
And here's your cheat sheet, just in case. The 3 fundamental dance moves of melody. You've got parallel motion, that's our dancers in sync, contrary motion, dancers moving apart and then back together, and oblique motion, the anchor and the soloist. Simple, right?
And that's pretty much it. In just a few minutes, you've learned how to spot the core choreography that's underneath so much of the music we listen to every single day. You literally have a brand new way to listen. So, I'll leave you with this question. A little challenge. The next time you put on your favorite song, I don't care if it's pop, classical, jazz, whatever, listen closely. Can you hear the dancers? Can you spot the hidden dance?